And I was like, he knows. Like, he has confidence. That's it. That's what it is, you know?
Okay.
And most of the women are like that. So yeah, maybe you don't come as cocky or like too confident, I would say, but you are, confident in something else. You know what I mean? So some people don't have the confidence to talk straight, like, like be vocal about it, but they're confident about something else, like certain situations. Maybe they're really good at video games, like, or readings or whatever the topic it is. They're very confident at that certain thing, or they're very passionate about that thing, like maybe it's sports, maybe it's like video games, maybe it's reading books, whatever it is. It's just that the confidence is pretty much kind of like he kind of like just
What the is we doing?
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Today is the 6th of January. We're on episode number 59. Going pretty strong, starting off the new year. New format seems to be working out pretty well. Again, little by little, we're slowly adjusting things to what we want them to be. So you'll see a little bit of changes here and there until we get to the point where we're like, all right, this is exactly where we want this to be. But until that point, the show pretty much stays the same. So you can enjoy our sweet voices, or my monotone voice and Michael's squeaky voice, and, have a good time with us.
I'll be like the chipmunks.
Pretty much. Quick disclaimer, this is a conversation between me and Mike. This is for entertainment purposes only. In terms of legality, we got to make sure to let you know that we are not experts in any way. We are not financial experts, so whatever advice we give there is not to be taken seriously. This is just, again, entertainment purposes only. If anything that we say kind of resonates with you, feel free to, jot it down, maybe give it a shot. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Leave the rest.
Move on.
That is all.
Sweet. Welcome back, everybody. We got a few topics for today. On the foundation sections, we are going to talk about how not being cocky. So how you cannot sound or appear cocky at all. Fitness, finding your niche in the fitness area or in the gym, whichever it is. And then on finance, a lot of things have been going on today, Wednesday, January 6th. So there's a lot to talk about. So we're just gonna stick with some news updates that you might probably know, but probably don't. So yeah, it's up to you.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, so let's get it started with foundations. What do you think? Do you believe you're cocky? Yes or no? Simple as that.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I agree. Why?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm cocky all the time, but I feel like maybe what I should say is that most of the time I feel confident and not necessarily cocky. So here's the thing. When it comes to being cocky, or I would say that's just like an exaggeration of being overly confident about what you can do and who you are, whatever the situation may be. We've talked about it in the past that, you have to have a balance of being confident in what you can do, but also you have to be humble, because if you're too much of one, that's a problem. If you're too much of the other one, that's also a problem. So, man, I don't. So where exactly do you want to take the topic?
Like, how can you improve on that to look cocky?
To be more cocky or less cocky? Or is it even a good thing to be cocky?
Nah, all right. So let me start with me, and then you can maybe wrap it up from there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, a lot of people that meets me, they think like I appear or like I come up as very cocky. And the truth is, I'm not. Or would you say I am?
I would say it depends on the situation.
Right. And on certain things that where I'm very like confident that I know something very, very well, maybe I would appear. But most of the time I'm not. And like the person that actually pointed this out to me made me really aware about this. Like every time I meet somebody, I try not to like sound rude, sound like just that know it all or whatever, because what she told me is that, you know, like as soon as I met you, I was like, ew, like he's so cocky. And then I was like, and now we actually really close friends, which is really funny. And I don't know. I feel like people had to get to know me in order to realize that I'm actually not cocky at all. Like I'm very humble. And you know, it's gonna sometimes the appearances. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. That's all I've gotta say. But how can you improve it? What I have been doing to improve this? Now, always put a smile in your face. I think that's a huge plus that can help you to be more friendly and be more appealing to talk to. You know, that you just welcoming. You're more welcoming to other people. That has helped me. The way that I walk, a lot of people has pointed it out. It's kind of weird because I walk a lot, and that's not because
like a penguin.
yeah, and that's not because I want to. It's just something that you know, some injuries that I had, but that's that. But yeah, so I think just walking confident doesn't mean necessarily that you are cocky. You just gotta get to know the person. That's all.
Right.
All right.
So yeah, I think I got a better idea now. But
Or
it kind of still sticks within the realm of like, you know, if the
confident.
perception, if people are telling you that you're cocky, right? Like the perception that you give off initially is that people perceive you as cocky. Um, you have to take it with a grain of salt because, you know, sometimes people tend to misinterpret initial appearances, right? Like you said, that person that told you you were cocky initially, now you're good friends. So, you know, appearances can be a little bit deceiving. Again, there's something to be said about being confident and then being cocky. It's basically the same thing. It's just on one end of the spectrum, you know, you have confidence balanced out with being humble. And on the other end of the spectrum, you're just being overly confident without any reason. And you don't have a way to balance that out because for some reason you don't think you can fail. Or maybe you've been on a winning streak, right? You've been doing really well back to back to back. And for some reason now you think that, you know, the world is yours. Very quickly, life usually tends to push people right back down when they start getting a little too big for their britches, so to speak.
Right.
So being cocky isn't necessarily a bad thing, but again, there's a humility that you need to have in balance with it.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I also started learning is to, whenever you're in a room with people who, like, you know, maybe friends, relative, acquaintances, whatever, pay attention to them. That's something that I tend to do. I dive into my own zone. I zone out. So let's say I'm like on the phone or planning something on my phone. I tend to like zone out right there and completely ignore my surroundings. Like somebody can be like talking to me and I'll be like talking to somebody else on the phone. And that's really bad. We talked about this before, like, you know, you got to be present at the moment. And sometimes that might seem like a asshole move or like you just cocky, like you just ignore everybody. It's not. It's just things that you need to improve, you know, some things that everybody has to learn. Not everybody's perfect. So
no, not at all. And that just speaks to having a good level of awareness, right?
right, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so you know, just to put it simple, find the balance between the confidence, balancing the confidence that you have in yourself or the confidence that you have in the things that you are able to do or something that you know, and the humility that not everybody's gonna have the same perspective or same perception of you. In, you know, in a balance, just balance it out and be humble and confident at the same time, and you find
All
the
right,
match.
so I got a scenario for you.
Go ahead.
So usually when we start talking about, you know, in the aspects of dating, right? One of the things is that people reiterate is that you have to be very confident, right?
Right.
So what do you think there? Like if a guy approaches a girl and, you know, her perception is that he's being really cocky, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
He would say you, like, you know, like, no, like how do you say that?
Like just from you approaching her, she perceives you as cocky. Because who do you think you are? Why do you think you can talk to her?
Right. That's true. It's interesting. That's actually an interesting topic. I feel like initially she might push you away. She'll say like, "Oh, he's over cocky," just because it's kind of like what do you call it? You a little bit intimidating her, right? But inside of her, you know that she's into that. So she's
So how do you know that?
draw because it works.
So you would say that at that point you're being cocky because you don't 100% know, right? You're banking on the
no,
fact
no,
that
no,
you're
no. I think for past experiences, I'm pretty sure it works like that. There's definitely the few that they're not attracted to confidence. Like regardless of your looks on a woman's, I feel well. I have sisters, so I know that appearances don't really matter. Actually,
okay.
yes, appearances
No,
don't
they
really
do.
matter, right? It's how the person is. And I know this because I'm not gonna say who, but one of my sisters told me about this, about the guy, like what type of guy she was attracted to. And it wasn't the appearance. It was more like the confidence that he had in himself. And I was like, he knows. Like he has confidence. That's it. That's what it is. You know?
Okay.
And most of the women are like that. So yeah, maybe you don't come as cocky or like too confident, I would say, but you are, confident in something else. You know what I mean? So some people don't have the confidence to talk straight, like, like be vocal about it, but they're confident about something else, like certain situations. Maybe they're really good at video games, like, or readings or whatever the topic it is. They're very confident at that certain thing, or they're very passionate about that thing, like maybe it's sports, maybe it's like video games, maybe it's reading books, whatever it is. It's just that the confidence is pretty much kind of like it, it kind of like just spreads out. It's just a vibe. There's no
Right.
vibra.
Right,
What
right.
do you think?
Yep. So yeah, I would say a similar thing, right? So again, at the end of the day, when it comes to specifically with dating, it's a numbers game. You really don't know who likes you and who doesn't
True.
of just like right off the rip, right? If a girl sees you and she likes you, but she gives you no indication, then you're not gonna know. The only way you're gonna know is by, making an approach, being confident, and just kind of assuming that she likes you. And if it turns out that she doesn't, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? Because again, we go back to the fact that it's a numbers game. You just don't know. Um, but yeah, in those situations, the perception can be that you're cocky. But again, it's about knowing truly yourself that that's not necessarily the case. It's a balance of being confident and having humility. Because just because this girl doesn't like you, that doesn't mean that the next one won't. Um, and that's basically all there is to that.
Right. And I think it shouldn't really matter at the end of the day if you know that you're not cocky and there's proof that you are not cocky. Whereas like let's say you just be cocky for no reason or just like faking the confidence. That would be a complete different thing. What do you think? Like faking it.
We
And
talked
the
about it
fact that
before, right? The more that you aren't genuine, the
Mhm.
more of a facade that you're putting up, whatever game it is that you're playing, pretending like you're busy, not texting her back or whatever the case is.
Right.
Later on, that's where things kind of get problematic and issues are going to start occurring because it's been a lie the whole time.
Hmm.
You need to have it be as genuine as possible. So you can't be faking a facade of confidence when you don't feel confident. Um, Again, but there's a balance there too, because hypothetically, let's say, again, let's go back to the approach. You like this girl, you don't feel particularly confident, but you want to talk to her, meet her, you got to make that approach. And then
Yeah.
that goes more towards being courageous, right? In being in a situation of uncertainty, you still go forward doing the action that you want to do or have to do. So, there comes up another topic, right? Being courageous, being confident, being humble. All of these things kind of synchronize to kind of get you in a situation where, you're a balanced person. It's not
Right.
you're overly confident, so that makes you cocky, or you're overly humble, which makes you a pushover, or you're overly was the other one that I just came up with?
For what?
Cocky,
Hey,
confident. Huh?
asshole.
No, whatever. In any case, whatever I just said previously, you're not overly that, right? Because it's a really fine balance of making sure that everything is good on all the levels. Because too much of anything is always a problem, and too little of anything is always a problem.
It's also a problem. Yeah. Definitely. It's something that you are gonna work out every single day. Like
Right.
there's never an end to it. But yeah, I think one thing that I want to say though is that if you're really good at something, be good at that. And if sometimes if you are going to get into an argument, even if you go or appear or go like you're being very cocky about it, you know your stuff. So if you really know about it, you shouldn't back up just because somebody else doesn't understand. But always think on the other people's perspective, because not everybody's gonna think like you. Well,
Right.
that's it, and that's the balance that you kind of like want to pursue. Oh, everybody's trying to pursue. I'm still working on that.
Yep. Everybody
Yep.
is.
Everybody is. Indeed. All right. I think that covers that, or you need anything else to add up?
No, that's pretty much it, man.
Cool. All right. So finding a niche. What do you mean with that?
So this is going, well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be specifically with personal training, but this is tailoring more towards personal training, right?
Right.
So when it comes to training people, you gotta find the balance of like what it is that works and what it is that you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of goes for everything. It's not necessarily just the training. So what I mean by niche is a specific field, or like think of it like like you're doing a major and you're being really specific about what it is that you want to learn within that major, right? When you what's it called? Specificity. When you focus on one thing,
Right. Specific.
Right.
Kind of like speciality.
Specialty. That's what I was looking for.
Specialty.
When you go for a specialty, that forces you to be really strict about what it is that you're learning and what it is that you're doing. Because the whole point is to become an absolute master at this one part or this one topic. So with training, if you take the same approach, you end up becoming really good at, a couple different things. And in that aspect, people tend to come to you for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, one of the biggest problems with being a personal trainer is that you try to do too much of everything. So again, jack of all trades, master of none. You know a little bit about everything, but you don't know anything well. And
Go back to what we were talking yesterday, remember? On martial arts.
Right.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So going back to the topic, right? In that sense, you need to make sure that, again, you need to be well diversified, because as a personal trainer, your job isn't necessarily to be a specialty. That's why strength training coaches exist, right? They specifically deal with strength training. That's why dietitians exist, because they specifically deal with nutrition or, diets. As a trainer, you need to be well-rounded and know a bunch of different things, but simultaneously, you need to focus in on a couple of different things that you like doing, and basically you can become a master at. So for me, my thing is doing kettlebell training. I like doing kettlebell training, and I can focus in on becoming better at that, acquiring more skills and being able to teach that to other people. That is my niche. That is my specialty. And that is what people come to me for. They don't come to me for strength training. Well, they do come to me for strength training, but they don't come to me for strength training with, barbells, or they don't come to me for losing weight via their nutrition. I know a little bit about that. I can, talk at length about these topics, but I am not an expert, simply because I don't dedicate all my time to that. And that's the thing about personal training. You need to be broadly diversified, yet you need to simultaneously know a lot about one or two different things. That way people come to you for that thing. Because again, we talked about it before. Being a master, a jack of all trades and master of none, gets you nowhere.
Mhm.
People pay you for having some sort of specialty because that's what they want to learn.
Right.
And that's it.
I think you can argue that actually, where you just say at the end that mastering something, just something, is going to bring you places. I think I can argue that maybe just
Against that?
one. Okay, actually, I cannot. I just finished reading a book, The Republic of Plato, and it actually speaks about that too. About like being justice is doing what you have to do and not getting in other people's business. That's pretty much what justice is. Like, believe it or not, that's their description. And that's how like a perfect society works as well. I don't know why I'm talking philosophy, but it kind of goes hand to hand to what you're saying.
No, it works 100%.
So in a perfect society, it will be balanced and happy society if every part is structured on it. So there's 3 different types of structure: producers, rulers, and guardians, right? So 3 type of classes, 3 type of peoples, and he uses an analogy that the person can do the same. All right. So the rulers rule, guardians protect, and producers produce. It's simple as that. In a just society, everybody is gonna be perfect because it's the perfect society. If each class in this structure does what their role is and doesn't get involved in other people's business. So producers are gonna produce. They're gonna focus on the commerce. They're not gonna be worried about guarding the place or even getting into ruler's position, right? So it's kind of just to make sense of all of this. Is what are you talking about? Be good at something and do your job. So finding your niche or finding where you good at or talented at, and pretty much you're just there. You're perfect. Not perfect, but you are doing your job and you're not getting into other people's business. Maybe you know how to do other things, but it's gonna take you. You can be more beneficial into that specific niche, or you can even contribute to that niche. Maybe you can implement new ideas to it, something that might work better, might work worse, or whatever. But if you never try, or if you're not very knowledgeable about that specific niche, it's not going to take you somewhere. It's not going to work out well.
Right.
I hope
So
I had made sense on that one. But
no,
yeah.
that makes sense. So just to kind of piggyback on that, or maybe wrap up the topic all in one. So yeah, like think about a society or like a general tribal society of humans, right? All the humans can kind of do most of the tasks, but there's a specific task that most of them have, right? Some people are hunters, other people are gatherers, other people stay back and they grow crops and nurture the children in the tribe. The reason for that is because when we have this kind of organization of people kind of doing this, doing that, and being masters at their thing, you can do your thing and I can do my thing, and then we can bring it together and I can show you a little bit about what I know. You show me a little bit about what you know. And that kind of brings about a community and camaraderie. And, you move forward together as opposed to you just trying to do everything. You can't really do anything well because you're trying to do too many things. So going back to the finding your niche, you become a master at one specific area, and then you can help contribute to other people's, experiences in the gym or other trainers, right? So another trainer, hypothetically, my niche is kettlebell training. Another trainer niche is Olympic lifting. Perfect. So what you end up doing, maybe you're a client or a potential client, you're like, hey, I want to hire this guy on Tuesdays to teach me kettlebell stuff, and I hire the other guy on Fridays to teach me the Olympic lifting. That way, you're getting the best value from everybody, right? And the trainers are getting good value as well because they're getting paid. That's their whole job. As opposed to you being the trainer that, is really good at Olympic lifting, really good at kettlebell training, really good at whatever. That takes a lot of time. And the only way for you to master these things is by doing it over and over and over again. And we're limited on time. And that's basically the whole topic of finding your niche. We're limited on time. So find the thing that you enjoy doing and become really good at it. That way you can, implement that as a way of using that at kind of like a commodity. You can exchange your knowledge for somebody else's knowledge, and you guys can work better together as opposed to trying to do everything on your own.
Absolutely well said on that. And also, I feel like if you try to do or take on multiple tasks at once, it will be a little bit selfish of you as well, not to give the opportunity for other people. Like I'm talking more like in the gym, right?
Mhm.
And also, you become known because of your niche. So like in the gym aspect where you work, people are gonna know you because you're really good at kettlebell training. Else, you would be another trainer. You know what I mean? It will be just another trainer.
Jack of all trades, master of shit.
Right. But because you master like kettlebell practices, exercises, everybody's gonna get to know you because of that. And that's what it is. And you can apply that in life. You can apply that everywhere, actually.
That's what makes you stand out. It's when you are so good at one specific thing that people have to come to you to learn this thing because you've just dedicated so much time to it.
Right. So now maybe we should expand this a little bit more in tomorrow podcast about the niche in life. Now, what is your niche? I think yours is clear, but we can talk a little bit more tomorrow on that. All right.
Sure.
Okay. So now let's move on to the last topic of the day, which is news. News. What do you got for me? What is going on in Washington, D.C., bro? Can you explain that a little bit more?
So not 100% sure. I just kind of saw some headlines, but apparently we had some sort of protesting going on in Capitol Hill, which ended up turning into rioting. Or what actually ended up happening is that civilians ended up storming the Capitol Hill building and actually got inside and disrupted the Congress, I believe, from doing stuff, and they ended up getting evacuated, or from electing the new officials into Congress or the Senate. I'm not 100% sure about politics. So in any case, yeah, it was actually interesting because what ended up happening was I was training Neo, right? And so I left an open position, and I was like, yeah, I haven't hit my daily goal, but everything kind of seems pretty poised to break out and start, uptrending. So I left it there. So I get on the train, and it takes about like 30 minutes or so. By the time I get off the train, for some reason, the whole thing just fell off a cliff. So Neo dropped like 5%. I'm like, what in the world just happened? And then I start checking other stuff, and everything is starting to drop. Then I start looking into the news, and then boom, I see that apparently Capitol Hill has been stormed, and I don't know, chaos ensued.
Yeah, I saw the headline for this as well, not so long ago. But actually, in this morning, I saw I usually watch Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance, and they were talking about threat, but it wasn't from like inside. It was from like kind of like revenge from what happened a year ago. If you guys remember, the reason why we almost went to World War III was because they killed one of the Iranians, or I think it's Iranian leaders. You don't remember why? The reason why last year we almost went to World War III? Let me see. I have the article up right here. So they interfere, or like kind of how you said that.
Wasn't it the beginning of 2020? Yeah, the beginning of 2020, right?
Yeah. So the Federal Aviation Administration worked closely with federal law enforcement and national security partners on any report security threats that may impact aviation safety, because they were planning, or there was like this interception of a call from somebody that were planning to attack the White House today. Because the Congress was, everybody was there. They were passing a meeting in the Congress, and it was kind of like a revenge from the Iranian leader that what Trump killed last year. That was the news that I was aware of. And to be honest, like more in the afternoon, I heard the headlines about the rally that was happening at the moment. I was like, what is going on? But I I took that to my advantage. I was I was outside my house and also on Zoom calls later, and I put a buy, like something that we talked yesterday, a limit, what is it called? A limit to buy as well. You can put a limit to buy for S triple Q, so betting against the market, and apparently it went through. So right now I'm sitting with some triple Qs, making some profits. So that's really advantageous for me. Sadly, very sad what is happening on Capitol Hill, but it was inevitable with all this craziness and
Hmm.
all the I don't want to say garbage, but like the things that is on their heads, honestly. But
Shitty world that we live in.
yeah, it's shitty ass. Anyways, some other news. Bitcoin. As I mentioned yesterday, JP Morgan said the Bitcoin could trade as high as 146,000 if it continues to compete with gold as a safe haven asset for investors. And that's the reason why gold fell today. All right? Boom. And to remember that not long ago, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon called Bitcoin a fraud. So now they're actually betting on Bitcoin. The ironies of life. Energy. U.S. benchmark oil prices shot up over $50 after Saudi Arabia said it will reduce its output by an additional 1 million barrels a day the next month. The announcement we watch now expected means less supply will hit the market at a time when demand for fuel remains low due to the pandemic. So this is all basic economics, supply and demand. They're reducing the supply, therefore the demand is gonna increase a little bit and the prices are gonna rise much more. Okay, DC today, yesterday, Wednesday, January 6th, Congress will meet to certify President-elect Joe Biden's Electoral College victory, as many as 3 dozen Republicans plan to challenge the results. Though they likely won't succeed, and now we're seeing the consequences of the rally happening at the moment.
Hmm.
Very good. We talk about Joe Biden's and Democrat Kamala Harris, kind of calling on Congress to pass another tier stimulus package for $2,000 stimulus check for everybody. So it might be, the decision
So I
that.
just saw here, apparently the Democrats will control the Senate. This kind of popped off.
It's
So
they
in
won.
Georgia, right, the Senate races that was happening over there, apparently the Democrats won, which means they will now control the Senate moving forward. So, Joe Biden,
Has the
Democratic
potential.
president,
Oh,
Senate,
boom.
Democratic.
So I was going to talk about that. So what's at stake? So so today's decision was very important because of that. So now the Democrats control the Congress, will be the Senate. I mean, it will be a little bit more easy for Joe Biden to actually do something, honestly, to pass the stuff, to pass new bills, executive orders, new bills, especially and new laws. To one of them is actually one interesting law that I was seeing yesterday on a YouTube video. It was the contamination and cleaning rivers on the mid states, like the Mississippi rivers and some of the branches around there. Very, very, very fundamental for the environment. And Trump, what he did is revoke the protection under federal, protection law. And Joe Biden can definitely, well, one of the plans is most likely one of them, which is very good for the environment, because I don't want my kids to live on a world, that is not with a mask. But yeah, the global economy needs another shot. Yesterday, Tuesday, January 5th, the World Bank predicted the global economy would grow 4% on 2021. That sounds a lot better than last year's pandemic-induced construction of 4.3, but it all depends on how well governments contain the coronavirus, which right now, we are spreading, delivering the vaccines. And well, the administration of the vaccines are going to be huge in the next few months or so, or even year, the whole year. If case loads stay high and vaccines rollouts lag, growth could hit just 1.6%. So we'll see what happens. If you guys remember, the UK yesterday closed, which is really sad. Let's hope that similar situation doesn't happen here in New York or in the other states. Cool. All right. Your next package is in a passenger. Yeah, because most of the airplanes right now are being used to deliver vaccines. Amazon said yesterday it had brought 11 used Boeing 767s from Delta and Canadian Airlines carrier WestJets. So just know that your Amazon package coming from a different place is being transferred in the same plane that you used to go to your vacation. All right.
Nice.
They're living the life. But yes, in that's all. Actually, no. Hong Kong police arrested more than 50 pro-democracy activists in major crackdown under China's new national security law. Very sad to see what is happening with Hong Kong these past years, actually, because a little bit background history, if you're not aware, Hong Kong was a British colony back in the days. They got their independence. They go back to China, but they maintain their own political views, their own political practices and cultural practices as well. But now China is trying to take over. So if you haven't seen in the news, such as, BBC or CNN.
BBC?
Yeah, BBC usually. Why? Oh,
BBC.
is that the news?
No.
It is the news.
I'm pretty sure, isn't it BBC Network?
Yes.
If it's not that, then that'd be hilarious.
Bro, you have such a dirty mind. Can't believe with you. It is BBC News. Never wrong with my sources. But anyways, you try to keep aware that, what's happening on the globe. And Hong Kong is trying to keep the regiment away from their laws. But China is trying to implement their harsh laws in them. Imagine growing up, all your childhood, everything, your life, in a liberal country, and boom, somebody tries to take over your country. Of course, you're gonna rise up. So a lot of people been protesting about that. Manhattan office vaccines hit a record high of 15.1% last year per commercial real estate firm Savills. So Alibaba co-founder Jack Ma isn't missing. He's just laying low per CNBC. Elsewhere in China, Lei Xiaoming, the former chairman of Chinese lender Huarong Asset Management, was sentenced to death for bribery, corruption, and bigamy. That's how crazy the laws are over there. I wish they can implement it over here.
You wish?
All the most of the politicians, boom. Anyways, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, that's pretty much it from my end as well. There's not really, we'll see how tomorrow ends up going with everything that's happening today.
I gotta run. So it was a pleasure with everybody. Peace out.
out.
See you tomorrow.